What's the word, y'all? What's the word? Welcome back to the hottest pro wrestling podcast in the world, the Say I Quit podcast. You know who I am. It's your boy Lil Derek. We got Reed Starks with me. And today we got another very, very special guest in our series of interviewing some of the top indie wrestlers around the world at this point. Rika, Wildlee, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I know we've been working on getting this interview rolling for a while, so I'm glad to be on finally.
Yes, long overdue. You were one of the first people that I was actually in contact with over probably like in May once I started like setting up this string of interviews that we've been doing. And all of them have been dope. And obviously, you sent me your bio and stuff like that besides me getting to, do a little research of my own and just see where you've been, what you've done. And so far, I've seen that you have a really, really cool story to tell. So I want to start off from the beginning. I saw that I think you said you were 8 years old when you decided that you wanted to become a professional wrestler. You kind of spent the rest of your life just figuring out how to get to where you are now, and of course, dreams of getting further than this. Um, what was that moment at 8 years old? What did you see? What were you watching that made you say, "Yeah, this is what I want to do when I get older"?
Well, it was one of those things. I was diagnosed with ADHD at a very early age before, and this was in the early '90s before they really give it a name. And there wasn't many things that just overall caught my attention long enough to actually get into it because I was just into everything for about 2 seconds a piece. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I ended up going to my cousin's house, and I was staying the night with him. And he had the original VHS. I believe it was the Boyhood Dream, Shawn Michaels, Boyhood
Okay.
Dream original VHS. Um, and it was the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon double Intercontinental title ladder match.
Classic.
That one right there, because I'd never even thought about. I watched a little bit of wrestling prior to that, but I'd never really watched it long enough to be like, there's more than just two guys getting in a ring and wrestling around. There's a lot more creative ways of doing things like ladder matches and stuff like that. So I just needed to know more. I needed to watch more. I needed to discover more. It was just something that has driven me for years now, and I'm one of those people that understands that you'll never finish learning what wrestling is about. There's always something new to learn, always a different avenue to take. Creativity is endless in the wrestling world.
No doubt about it, man. I really love that ladder match. I feel like whether you're somebody getting into wrestling today, you're somebody that watched it live, um, or wherever you fall in the wrestling tree, whether you want to be a professional wrestler or you're just a fan, that Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon ladder match for the IC title it's a must watch. I think in like the history of pro wrestling, something that every wrestler should watch. That's one of those matches. I'd put it third with like the TLC matches,
Oh, no doubt,
between
no doubt.
the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. If you're a wrestling fan, like you have to watch that match. But if you're someone that wants to be a pro wrestler, I feel like you gotta watch. It's just a certain list of matches. I definitely think that Razor Ramon
Oh,
uh, match
I
fits
agree.
into that category.
I agree completely. I mean, there's certain matches throughout pro wrestling that, in my opinion, go on the learning tree. Those are
Mm-hmm.
matches that you have to watch to understand what pro wrestling is about, and that is one of the main reasons that I have understood what I understand about getting into the business, but took a step back to really develop the gimmick and everything that I'm doing now.
The Barker of Bizarre, correct?
Yes, yes. I'm a carnival barker. That's the thing is a lot of people don't know what that is, but The guy that stands at the front of the carnival in front of the freak show and goes, "Come on, come all, step right up, see the weird, wonderful, amazing things that we've got to offer." Blah, blah. He draws the crowd to you. Now,
Right.
the very first thing that was ever put out there, the very first person who ever spoke pro wrestling as we know it into existence nowadays, the predetermined outcomes, the outlandish characters, the odd matches, the spectacle that we know pro wrestling as nowadays, the entertainment side of things, all started at the carnival way back in the day. And the first person to speak it into existence was that initial carnival barker who said, we can make money off of putting these guys who are just random people in a match together, give them a name, give them a gimmick. He went from Tom Jones to down the road to now he's a barbarian, or he's, the strong man, or whatever the case may be. But giving them the gimmicks, the entertainment side of just wrestling started at the carnival. And that is where I have taken my inspiration and my gimmick. I'm a walking, talking history lesson. If you really dig into it, there's a lot of fans out there, a lot of pro wrestling people who are into the product who don't understand the history of what they know and love. So that's where I come.
That's really dope. That's really dope. Like especially like you said, as soon as you said like, because I wasn't sure exactly what the Barker was referencing, and I didn't ever know that was the name. But as soon as you said like from the carnivals, I could tell that okay, you got your gimmick essentially from the
Right,
origins of pro
right,
wrestling, the
right,
foundation of what was happening at carnivals that became this major attraction that
right.
is one of the biggest things in the world nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It all
There you
started
go.
with the carnival. So speaking of that, I can tell that I'm a big history guy myself. Whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's pro wrestling, I'm somebody that's always studied the history of it. So like when you watched that Reg Ramon versus HBK match on the HBK VHS, is that just like did you just go down the rabbit hole immediately and just start like, hey, I gotta get as much knowledge as I can about this thing. It's so fucking cool.
Well, pretty much it was one of those things, wrestling by that point had been through the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the early 90s, so there was a lot for me to catch up on as a newfound fan. So back then, it was always movie rental places. This is before Netflix, before all of that good jazz. But every weekend, we always, on Friday evenings, we would go and each one of the family members got to pick one movie out for themselves, either a video game or a movie, depending. And mine, I would go to the wrestling section, and it was always one of the recent pay-per-views they put out or whatever. So to see it on TV and watch it on Mondays, and then see these same people that I've come to know and that's grown on me wrestling at pay-per-views and going for titles and having all these crazy matches, cage matches, the Mankind, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell match, all the insane stuff that's going on. When I say addicted, I mean just that. There was nothing about wrestling that I wasn't just over the moon captivated by. And it's never really died. That love, that passion has never really died.
You gotta have that passion, I feel like, to get into that business. Same obviously we're all very passionate about wrestling, but we are all hip hop artists. So,
Right.
the same we have that same type of obsession or addiction, you know what I'm saying, to making hip hop music, to
Yeah.
studying hip hop and learning all the things that laid the foundation for this thing that we love. The same thing with wrestling. That's why, I'm not gonna lie, like I know much about like the 60s and 50s, but like 70s, 80s, 90s, same with basketball, 70s,
Right.
80s, 90s, especially like 80s, 90s on up. I can tell you everybody that won an NBA championship from the 80s to now. I can tell you
There you
all
go.
about WWF from the 80s to WCW to AWA to NWA to just all of these
Yes.
different promotions and just knowing the history of it, I can definitely feel you on just having that healthy addiction, that healthy obsession with something that ultimately brings you so much joy that you want
It
to just
really does.
dig deeper, and learn as much as you can about it, and kind of escape. Wrestling, I think,
One hundred.
for most of us has always been like an escape from reality with these larger than life personalities and characters that we grow to love or grow to hate.
Right, right, right. 100%, man. And me and my dad had this conversation not too long ago about, you know, I'm 35 years old, and I've been wanting to do this and been driving to do this since, like I said, since I was 8. And we got to talking about why, like what is the main drive that has kept me so enthralled with pro wrestling as a whole all these years. And I'll tell him, just like I'll tell anybody, when I was a kid, you said it best. It was my escape. It was the one place I couldn't be touched. I'd get sucked into the TV, and or even out on the trampoline or out in the backyard, whatever the case may be, just in the world of pro wrestling. And now as I've grown up, I find my little bit of sanity, my little bit of peace, my little corner of joy in the ring, because I know it's what 8-year-old Jake dreamed of doing, or 8-year-old Rika. My real name is Jake, but yes.
Yeah, that's really dope. Let's get into your pro wrestling training.
Oh,
Uh, what was that first day like for you? I know a lot of wrestlers say, taking that first bump, hitting the ropes the first time, they want to quit. They start questioning, like, damn, do I know I said I wanted to do this, but do I really want to do that? What was that first day like for you?
well, I want to make it clear to anybody who's planning on potentially doing this, it is not, and I repeat, is not a trampoline. It is, it
It's
is
not a
2 by 2.
mattress. It's not a
Right. It is
mattress
not. It is
either.
boards. It is wood. I mean, it is stiff. Some rings stiffer than others, but the first day of training, honestly, so I showed up day one in the mask, in the Rika gimmick, day one. Even before the trainer even really knew who I was, I don't really think he even seen my face until we were graduating.
That's
But
crazy.
I mean, and he cried, bro. He hated it. He hated it. Just the gimmick in general, because he's old school and he don't really do the outlandish crazy gimmicks. But it's not for you. May not dig it, but that don't mean somebody else won't. And I may not dig what you're doing, but that don't mean somebody else won't. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it different.
Right.
You know. But that first day, he had us doing drop downs, which is just to see where I guess our physical level was. Drop down to your stomach, hop up onto your fingertips, jump back up to your feet. No big deal. Drop to your stomach, fingertips, back to your feet. Kind of like they do in football, I'm assuming. Just basic drop downs. And me being overzealous and excited to be actually in a pro ring, training to become a professional wrestler, I dropped down and straight Samoa spiked the mat.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I broke my thumb day one, like the first 10 minutes we were in there. I got out of the ring. I got out of the ring to go get some water. I went, grabbed some white tape that I had in my duffel bag, taped it up, threw some black gloves on, and went back to training. And matter of fact, until the day we graduated, he never knew it was broken.
Wow.
Mm.
Extreme
Yeah.
dedication and toughness, which
It's a funny
two
joke now
qualities that
between
you
me and
need.
him, but
Yeah, it definitely was like, damn, why you didn't tell me? Because I was definitely supposed to like get you some medical attention at that point.
hey, look, I wasn't giving him any reason to say, hey, man, you can't do this.
Like,
Hey, man, you need to take a break. No, dude, I've waited for this for years. Like, you ain't telling me to stop. None. Zero. Like,
I love
I've
the
made it this
dedication.
far. I'll cut my thumb off if I can still wrestle.
Hey, facts.
I got
I
an
can
extra,
feel that.
I ain't tripping.
You got four fingers on that same hand. You'll be all right.
That's it.
I
That's a
mean,
4-finger chop.
If Gerald Green can make it to the NBA without a finger, I think somebody can wrestle without just one finger.
Hey,
You just
look,
missing
dude.
one finger.
If that Gowan can wrestle with one leg, I think I can
You
do
can
it with one
wrestle with
missing
one
finger.
finger. There you go. There you go.
Right.
Perfect example. Perfect example. So you said you came in with the mask already. You came up like you had your name and your gimmick thought of before you even started training as a professional wrestler.
Right. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this, but on Facebook they have promo leagues. Where you come up with a gimmick. Like, let's say me and you were in a match per se. You come up with a gimmick, I come up with a gimmick. We cut promos on each other, and then they have judges judge these promos. Who has the better verbal skills? Who has the better delivery? Who has the better hard hitting line? So on and so forth. Basically, just like a regular match, but without the actual physicality of getting in the ring and wrestling.
Okay.
But they also, depending on the show and all of that, they give out belts, real titles, metal, leather title championships for these promo leagues. So I was doing the Rika gimmick about 2 years prior to the wrestling actually taking place and going to training and all of that, because I was doing the Rika character in the promo stuff
Mhm.
on screen on Facebook. So by the time I made it to the actual in-ring training and stuff, the gimmick was already there. I could already promo. So that's a step that I didn't really have to learn or take. Like a lot of wrestlers do. That's a hard thing for them to learn, is delivery on the
Right.
mic. But I had already been practicing that for 2 years prior. So that class for me was already done. So getting in the ring, all I had to really do was learn how to deliver and story tell, match wise.
That's insane. Like I definitely never had heard about like promo leagues.
It's called
Uh,
eFed. They're called eFeds, and they got them all over Facebook. And basically, people who can't go train or can't get, in ring, and may not be physically capable of getting in the actual ring and wrestling, they scratch that itch by getting on screen in character, coming up with these off the wall characters, whatever, and promoing against each other. So
that's
I
cool as
mean,
hell though.
yeah, it
Honestly,
is, dude. It,
that's
it's
cool
what
as hell.
it's what started all of this, man. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the guys that brought me into the promo stuff, just to build me that confidence to say, hey, I'm 30 years old. I think I can go in the ring and get beat up and not, you know, and still hold my own.
Right,
But they
right.
gave me the confidence.
So when it came to finding the school for you to train at, did those guys connect you, or did you do your own research and kind
Um,
of find a gym?
kind of yes and no, because one of the promo guys that I brought in to the promo stuff was one of my best friends. He's actually Gluttony the Big Top Butcher in the family affiliated right now, my faction. But he was in the promo league with me, and me and my wife had just got married during COVID and was in Cancun, Mexico. Real romantic setting. We're on the balcony, we're feeding the birds, eating breakfast. It's like 7:30 in the morning, whatever. And I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I see Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Dustin Rhodes had just opened Rhodes Wrestling Academy, and that's not too far from where I live. So I asked my wife, I was like, well, when we get back to the States, what do you think about possibly moving to Houston so I can maybe give this wrestling stuff a real try before I'm kind of feel like I'm too old to do it. You know what I mean? And she's never, me and my wife are polar opposite. She's never been into wrestling. She knew Stone Cold and The Rock. That's it. You know, I'm telling you. And it was just very basic on that. But I told her I would rather try and fail than to never try it at all. I'd beat myself up for the rest of my life if I didn't at least give it, an effort. So I was talking to her about that, about moving to Houston and all that. And not 30 minutes later, I had Timmy Renz, aka Gluttony the Big Top Butcher. He called me on Facebook Messenger, and he was like, dude, you know they just opened a wrestling school like 25, 30 minutes from the house. And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm the biggest wrestling fan around where we live. Like, if there was a wrestling school open up, I'd be the first to know about it. So I got to looking and searching on Facebook. One of the other guys who was in the first class with me, Logan Wade, Brandon Randall, he just recently passed away, but he called me as well, not 15 minutes after Timmy did. And I looked it up, and sure enough, Dapper Dan, the original Dapper Dan, Danny Davis, opened a wrestling school about maybe 25, 30 minutes from where I live. And I messaged him on Facebook, sent him a couple pictures of the promo Rika stuff. And when I got back to the States, went and had a sit down meeting. Me and four other gentlemen, we had a sit down meeting with Dapper Dan, and we were the first class to graduate through the UWE Wrestling Academy of Louisiana.
That's fire. That's tough.
That is. Go ahead, Reed. Go ahead.
Nah, he said.
No, I heard everything.
Yeah, I've never heard of like that wrestling. I've heard of the Dustin Rhodes one, but I ain't heard of that other one. But that's good. It's getting put on the map.
Yeah, I mean it opened up during COVID. Danny Davis, he wrestled for Global, he wrestled for Mid South. He was trained by Ivan Putski.
Yeah, Ivan Putski. Yep.
Yeah, he was trained by Ivan Putski, and he wrestled all over in the 80s and 90s. And when he stopped traveling wrestling, he came home and opened a motorcycle shop and done that for 15 plus years or so. And when COVID hit, people stopped buying bikes. You know, people stopped going outside, people stopped going shopping, all that good stuff. So the business side of things kind of went down. So he was like, well, I'm going to go back and teach what I know. And that was wrestling. Right. And he, like I said, he opened his school, and we were the first 5 guys to go through there. Me, Logan Wade, Punk Sinister, Millennial Mike, and Jake Fury. The United Wrestling Entertainment Academy of Louisiana.
So you started training in 2021, right?
Yes, in 2021.
And of course, like you said, you all had like a graduation. How long did it take you to graduate from wrestling school?
Overall, about, I want to say 5 months or so. 5 months or so.
Okay. That's always such an interesting question to ask, because, you know, some people, obviously you never stop training, but some people's school, they'll take this school for 5 months. Some people may be out of school for 3 months. Some people go to a school for a year before they get to having their first match or so.
Well, Danny wanted to start running shows. He wanted to start running regular shows. And once that happened, he was like, I've got to get this first class graduated so we can make sure that we've got enough talent, even if we got to bring a couple guys in, that we can start running regular shows and start building a fan base for the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once the first class graduated and all of that, and we got our first, I'd say, first show or two under our belt, we were still going, even after we technically graduated, we were still going and training 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
Just to make sure we were polished and ready. And this is before any of us branched out to other companies or anything. We were just wrestling at home, you know, for our local training academy who started running shows.
So what was that first? So essentially you started wrestling in 2021 as well then.
Mm-hmm.
What was that first year like for you?
Stressful, man. Stressful. Because there was some ups and downs there. Like within the first year or so, I ended up winning the light heavyweight championship, the UWE light heavyweight championship. And my first title, I won it in my hometown in front of my, you know, peers that said I would never wrestle and never make shit of myself, and, you know, just down me for even liking wrestling, period. And now you're buying tickets to see me. You're coming up and asking for my autograph. You're bringing your kids to come get my autograph, take pictures with me. You know what I mean? It's very humbling. And as much as I wanted to be that guy, to be like, I told you I didn't. I sat back. I said, thank you. I appreciate your support. And hopefully I inspire some of these younger kids to not listen to folks like your parents who said that, who are dream killers, man. You got to chase your dream. No matter, my vision isn't the same as yours, and that's okay.
That's just life. You know what I'm saying? That is
Yep,
definitely life.
absolutely.
So you won your first title within your first year, right?
Yes. And I only got to hold it for 9 days because of a miscommunication, which I ended up having to relinquish the title and got kicked out of UWE for about 3.5, 4 months.
Oh my goodness.
Sheesh. Is that something that you want to talk about?
It was a company that had reached out to me from Texas. I'm not going to drop any names, but they had a guy who was doing a clown gimmick over there and who was the champion. I was doing the Barker gimmick. I hate being called, even though I wear the clown mask. I just don't like the clown thing because whatever. But they called me, asked me to book me and all of this, and pitched an idea of me going to Texas and dropping my newly won title to their clown guy. And then next month, the clown guy comes over to UWE and drops both belts to me. My initial message that I sent back once he texted me on Messenger was not my title, not my company, not my choice. That's it. I don't make those decisions.
Right.
But the promoter that had called and talked to me already called Dapper Dan and told him that I agreed to come over there and do that. And me being new to the thing, and like I said, I even had the messages on Messenger and was like, look, I never ever agreed to. Why would I drop a title I waited 25 years to win in 9 days?
Literally. To somebody you
come
don't even
now.
know.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense. I'm holding this thing with my life. And why would I go drop it to some guy I don't even know? To a company I don't even know. But like I said, I ended up getting let go for like 3 or 4 months. And in that small window, I'm not going to lie. I've been through a divorce. I've been through all kinds of heartache things. But having wrestling taken from me was the most gut-wrenching thing that I have ever dealt with. For like 2.5 weeks, I was having to be forced to eat because I was that nerve-wracked. Like couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, just 25 years of waiting and finally getting the opportunity, a little small taste, and then have it pulled out from under you.
Did it feel like that was the end for you at that time? Did it feel like, oh, this is over
with? It did for a short time, but as I was like, this is the pivotal moment in my career that I had to look at myself in the mirror and go, it's on you now. You've been trained. You're now licensed. You've got all opportunity in the world. You've got the world at your fingertips through all these social medias. You can reach out to literally anybody. It's sink or swim. It's up to you. If you don't do another wrestling match in your life, then it's your fault. If you go and you make a full-on career of it, then it's on you. If you fail, it's on you. If you succeed, it's on you. Can't nobody else do it but you. And I said, you know what? It is what it is. And I went and I had Timmy, actually, before he became Gluttony, he made a page on Facebook called Booking the Big Top. And he became more or less kind of like my booking manager. I would reach out to companies and he was reaching out to companies for me. He was my merchandise manager at the time. And he was reaching out to companies for me and all of this. And people started digging the gimmick. And we started traveling and going to these different companies. And I realized that you don't need other people. You don't need everybody. because in the end,
Yeah.
it's up to you. If you succeed, it's up to you. If you fail, it's up to you. And I'm okay with that. If I fail, I'll take it. I've had legendary guy that comes to our shows. He's a very well known wrestler. I'm not going to drop any names, but he came to me one time. They were starting up a big company with TV and all of that. And he asked me, he said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing the Rika stuff, but losing the mask and all of that?" And I just shut him down and I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm not doing it." "Well, you could be on TV." And I don't care. I don't care. I'd rather fail as myself than succeed as somebody's puppet.
I feel it. I can respect that for sure. I know a lot of people in situations like that are always going to tell you, compromise what you believe in, but ultimately it's going to feel much better. Whatever you can achieve by when you didn't, like I didn't have to compromise anything that I wanted to do creatively. I didn't have to compromise who I am as a human to get this level of success.
Right.
I think it feels way better,
Well,
Obviously, a lot of people. When I was a kid, I would have loved to get signed to a record label. You know what
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying? But nowadays, I even as a teenager, I started to just realize that I would probably be having to sacrifice my creative control. I'd be probably having to sacrifice who I am as a human to please other people and essentially, like you said, be their puppet. When it feels way better, all of the accolades that I'm able to say that I've achieved without having to
right.
sacrifice who I am as a person or
Yeah.
compromise on who
Staying true to yourself.
the things that I want to do creatively.
Yeah.
So I can respect that for sure.
Well, it's one of those deals, man. I'm if I could find somebody just like him when he pitched that idea to me and all of that, if I was doing things and coming up with creative ideas and they were bombing and they were completely trash, and I'm trying them and I'm trying to get them over and I'm constantly working to get them over and all of this and nothing's working, and you come and pitch that to me, yeah, that would make sense. I need your help. But not to toot my own horn, I've been doing this for 4.5 years now in the ring, and it's only gotten bigger. It's only gotten brighter. It's only gotten more creative, and everybody eats it up. Just on the fact that love me, hate me, adore me, I am me. You're going to get me 100% all around the table. Like me or don't, you're going to get me. Book me or don't, you're going to get me. It doesn't matter. I'm sticking to who I am. If you want me, you want me. If you don't, you don't. And I can't appease everybody. I can't make everybody happy. The world is a vast place, and it's my job to make number one happy, and that is the man I see in the mirror.
There you go. That's
What a
and
promo.
you. Hey, you hear me? I was about to say he's spitting. He better write that down. Like he got to make
Yeah,
that
that's
a
what I'm
promo for
saying.
real.
Jeez.
Like,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
it's great to have that know the reality is that at the end of the day, you are in control of your destiny. You are in control of your future. You can't sit around blaming other people. It is simply what can I do to get myself out of this position? What can I do to get myself to the next level? Obviously, we all need help. We all need a
Yeah,
team. We all need people that believe in us. But ultimately, what are you going to do when you have that team? What are you going to do when you have those people that believe in you? What are you going to do when you have people giving you big opportunities? Are you going to be prepared? Are you going to knock them out of the park? And when you don't, if you don't, when things don't go your way, are you going to be the type of person that blames people? Or are you going to be one of the people that looks in the mirror and be like, okay, I fucked up on that. This
Yep.
is how I'm going to execute it better next time. You
Yep.
know
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
let you
saying?
in on. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, and this is something that I've based my entire life on, even before the wrestling. Success is in the power of perception. Okay, you can either let your downfall be the reason you will go out, fight, and conquer what you're trying to get, or you'll let it be the reason you won't go out and conquer what you're trying to get. But the fact is, it's all about how you perceive the downfall. If somebody comes to me and offers me a contract tomorrow to WWE, you know why they offered me a contract? Because they liked what they see. They liked what they saw. If they try to change me based on what they wanted initially, then you didn't want me for me. You wanted me for your puppet.
True.
Bottom line.
True. I can respect that a lot.
I'm taking the contract. I ain't gonna lie to you, Chief. That's just me. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But
That's not my end
so
game.
you gonna take it even in music, and they tell you can't make none of the music that you want to make no more. Reed. You will take the contract.
It's not even about the money.
It just depends on what you value, to be honest.
You know what I value?
Some people do value being a part of WWE because that. Let's be real,
Yeah. Like
wrestlers grew up.
lifelong dream.
Most
It's a
wrestlers
goal.
Oh
It's
no.
a
grew up
goal.
saying like, "I
Yeah.
want to be on WWE,"
Oh,
but
of course.
at a certain point, you do have to say, "Okay, do I want to change? Do I want to change my wrestling style? Do I want to change my gimmick? Do I want to change my name?" Those are all things that when you go to a major company like WWE
Yes.
are
Yes.
probably on the table. If we being honest, you know what I'm saying. There's no wrong answer, of course.
I'm
But
gonna
there's some
I'm
people
gonna
that
be
know
straight
like
up.
that's their dream. So
I'm gonna be straight up with you, and this is me 100% across the table. At the end of the day, this business that we know and love, WWE, whatever the big name company is, you're pushing toward, whatever that may be. At the end of the day, we're all building toward one thing, and that is paying the love of this business forward to the next person. Okay? This is a business of paying it forward. The reason you are giving a title, the reason you are giving an opportunity, the reason you are given anything in the professional wrestling business is so it will elevate your career. So by the time it is your turn to pass that torch, it means something. So when it comes down to the end of my day and the end of my career, I'm not looking to go to WWE. I'm not looking to go to AEW. My goal is to have my own wrestling school so that one day I may pass the knowledge that I have gained through the trials and tribulations that I have faced, the things that I have learned, the people and legends that I have talked to, on to the next generation of person so that they can take that knowledge and open doors for others, like I had the door open for me. If I wrestle for WWE one match, whatever the case may be, that'd be great to have on a resume. But the fact is I came in this world as me. I'm going to leave this world as me. And I'm not on this place for a long time, nor any of us are. So why would I let somebody dictate my little piece of existence for your benefit?
facts. I feel that for sure, and that goes back to success and perception. Because for some people, they won't deem their wrestling career a success unless they sign to AEW or WWE. And
Great
that's their
there.
prerogative. Some people, their success is dictated on how much money they made. Some people, it's dictated on awards. Other people is, can I take care of my family? Other people, success is for you being able to start a wrestling school one day. So we all
Peace.
have a different, view of what success is for us at the end of the day. And that's something to, I feel like any career that you're getting into, music, wrestling, sports, football, basketball, it doesn't matter what you're doing, politics, for all I care. You have to know like what is success for me? What level do I want to reach? What do I want to at the end of my career be able to say that I've done? What will they say about me? You know what I'm saying? And once you kind of have that clear vision, I love that you have that for yourself. That like no matter what comes my way, I don't want to compromise who I am and what I believe that my impact should be as a professional wrestler.
When we're gone, when we finally say our goodbyes and we leave this earth, there's not many people. There's been millions over the countless years that this place has been around, but there's only a handful that still get talked about that have a history worth talking about. And they've all had to bend somebody else's wheel at one time or another, but there's very few that have stayed true to themselves. And like I said a minute ago, I would rather fail as myself than succeed as somebody else's vision of who I am. Because the only person I've got to make happy is the man I see in the mirror.
For sure. I love it. So far, you've wrestled in 23 companies in 9 states, correct?
Yep.
Uh, do you have a favorite? Not to throw anybody under the bus. I know it may be hard to not say the company that you got your roots in, but do you have a favorite state to wrestle in, and do you have a favorite company?
I don't know. I find different avenues of awesome talent and things like that in each state that I go to. I've always been, wanting to travel and see different things and stuff like that. So I guess there's not one particular state that I just enjoy more than the others because they all have something of value. They all teach me something every time I go there because you always get to meet different people, learn different things, and see different visions of the one vision you love, and that's pro wrestling. Everybody
Right.
sees it different, works it different, you know, teaches you different. So I'm a student of the game as always, forever I will be. And I'm trying to, and I soak in everybody that I talk to, the knowledge that they're willing to bestow upon me, and even when I know the people, I'm still picking their brain about matches they've had, things they've done in the ring, different ways they've worked, people they've worked, all that kind of stuff. Just because you never, ever, ever finish learning in pro wrestling, whether it be the professional side of it, in ring or out of ring for that matter.
I think that's life in general.
Oh, it is.
A
For sure.
wise person, a person that is truly wise, is someone that never stops seeking knowledge. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Regardless of what it is that you're doing, you gotta be willing to be a sponge in whatever
Yeah.
environment, because there's always somebody there that either knows more than you or simply has a different point of view or perspective than you. So if you can be open to at least hearing that perspective, hearing what advice they may have for you. You may not end up, utilizing that advice, but at least having that open ear to being like, okay, let me take this into consideration. All right, bet.
Glad you
I
said
like
that.
this. I like this idea. I don't like this idea. And that's perfectly fine, because someone may look at your gimmick or see something that you do in the ring and be like, hey, you should try this. I think you should try this,
Yep.
and it would be really dope. And sometimes
Yep.
you're going to be like, damn, I don't know why I didn't think of that. I appreciate that advice. And
Right.
sometimes it's just like, I appreciate the advice, but I don't think that's going to work for me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why everybody can give, a lot of people take it as griping, complaining, trying to change you from who you are and all that kind of stuff. But if you just look at it as constructive criticism, it doesn't have to be something that you have to do. It has to be done. They're just giving you a different way of looking at what you're doing or what is being done and tweaking it a little bit to maybe make it a little better or a little different. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But either way, you only see what you see. People looking in may see it a little different, and that's okay. That's what makes the world amazing. That's life. But you just got to be open, just like you said. You got to be open to people's, different visions.
So you are currently a triple champion. Am I correct?
Yes, the SWF heavyweight champion out of Silsbee, Texas. One half of the current CCW tag team champions out of Alma, Arkansas, Classic Championship Wrestling, and one half of the current RWE tag team champions out of Oklahoma City.
That is
It's
dope.
like 3 different states. Jesus.
You hear me? Like, yes, that just shows how booked you are, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm
So
booked
that
all the way through December, brother.
That's what we like to
you're a
hear.
champion in 3 different promotions. That's fucking awesome. Especially considering, like you said, you really only been wrestling for 4 years. So to
Well,
have
I've won 6 titles so far in my career.
Can you name them off the top of your head?
The two, I've won 3 tag team titles with Eighth and Sorrow, the SWF tag team, CCW, and RWE. I've won the innovative heavyweight championship from WWA in Texas. I've won the light heavyweight championship with UWE, and I won the SWF heavyweight championship in Silsbee, Texas.
6-time champion already getting, and obviously, I think one of the coolest things that you're getting to do very early on is travel. I think a lot of people don't realize how important that is as an independent wrestler and how much time and effort and money that you have to spend to really pursue this as a career, essentially. You know what I'm saying? If you do want, much like with music for us, like if you do want to be able to make an actual living off of, this art that we love, this thing that we love to do, you do have to travel. You do have to spend a buttload of money. I know a lot of people probably are starting to realize it with music artists, but I don't think that many people realize just how much money a wrestler has to spend just to be a wrestler. Like wrestling gear isn't cheap. Wrestling gear isn't cheap. The travel that you have to do isn't cheap. The wear and tear on your body obviously is probably the most costly thing that you have to deal with.
That's where I cut corners on everything that I do because I make all my own wrestling gear. Everything that I've done outside of my mask and my boots, I've made. Like handmade, stitched, sewn myself, taught myself how to do it just to pinch a penny, save a little bit of money. But I travel every single weekend to God knows where, all these different states and all these different things. And I come home broke almost every single weekend due to food, gas, lodging, whatever. And I'm the definition, and I use this as the broadest term ever. I'm the definition of money can't buy happiness. Because I'm not a millionaire by no means. I'm pretty broke, but the fact of the matter is I've got a home. I've got my bills paid. I've got a normal job that keeps my bills paid. I've got an amazing wife, an awesome son, and I'm chasing and living my dream. Am I broke? Yes. But do I need $1 million? Nah, I'm good.
Broke but not broken.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 100% happy, bro. And that is more than, I've got people that I went to school with who have big, giant, fancy homes and all these four-wheelers and then side by side, all these toys, and big families and fat bank accounts and all of that. And they're coming at me and telling me how they're jealous of me because I'm doing what I said I was going to do in high school. I'm living my dream. And it's like, things don't create happiness. Happiness exists in the heart.
So as a kid, I know HBK and Razor Ramon are the ones that kind of got you that initial dopamine.
Yes.
Dose of dopamine for professional wrestling. Who would be the wrestlers that inspired you the most as a kid once you started going down that rabbit hole and really saying, like, this is what I want to do?
Oh, definitely the Hardys. And
I was gonna say that.
Definitely the Hardys, and definitely my overall favorite wrestler of all time, just because there wasn't any avenue that he couldn't pursue and do great in, and that's Eddie Guerrero.
That's my goat. So there you go.
Yeah, dude.
There you go.
R.I.P. to Eddie Guerrero, man.
He could do all. Yeah. There wasn't anything he couldn't do. High flying, technical, strong style, whatever the match called for, the man had.
Face, heel, he could talk.
Yeah, dude. Everything.
He could do the whole damn thing. Whatever you wanted from him as a professional wrestler, he's one of the people that, I consider a perfect professional wrestler.
He's the reason I do the slingshot senton into the ring.
Okay. That's
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the reason. He's the reason why I fell in love with professionalism. Him and Ray. So
there you go, bro. 1997 Halloween Havoc, bro. Killer.
I mean, I wasn't born then, but I watched it when I was younger.
My personal favorite match. Hey,
Yeah,
look, the
I love
funny
that
thing
match.
is, I forgot to bring it up because I was like, Reed don't know nothing about them Blockbuster days. You know what I'm saying? When you go on the
Look,
weekend and
I
get
that's
your
cool.
remember. I
Blockbuster
remember
stuff.
Blockbuster. I remember
Reed's,
Family Video. I
man,
remember. I'm not
he
that
was like
young.
2 years old, man. He was like two
It's
years old
okay.
for the
It's okay you
Blockbuster.
don't remember because wrestling is forever. You've got all the time in the world to go and dig
real,
into your roots, brother.
real graps is forever.
Real shit right there,
Real
man. Real
graps.
shit. So let's dive. Let's fast forward back to current present day. Last year, you won match of the year for WWA, I believe. 2024 match of the year for WWA. Could you tell us about that match? Like, what did you all kind of think that you were gonna have something that could be considered a match of the year? Like going into the match, did you think like that chemistry was there between you and that wrestler already?
I mean, yes, but no, because I didn't know the guy. I mean, I met him once, but for a very, very short spiel, and we only got to talk for a short time before the match happened. Because the company uses a low boy ring, which is a ring that isn't raised very high off the ground, kind of like an MMA style ring, and it's got an MMA style cage around it, and that's what we wrestled in. And there was weapons and a chair and sledgehammer and all kinds of good fun things. But the match as a whole, because we didn't really know each other, I didn't know that it was going to turn out near about as good as it did. And we went on to have a whole run. That was the night I won the WWA Innovative Championship when we won Match of the Year. But December, we had a match called a Funhouse Surprise match for Christmas time. And it was like 20 different gifts wrapped up as Christmas presents all around the ring. And whatever you could get a hold of and open, you could use. Some had glass in it. Some had cans of food in it. I got suplex on a pile of pine cones. The smell good pine cones. I mean, like there was all kinds of stuff in there.
Pine cones is crazy.
And the thing is the last match we had where he ended up winning the title off of me. I kind of let my mouth overload my ass on this one, but I asked him, I was like, do you know what this was like 4 months prior. I said, do you know what a Taipei death match is? And this is where old style fighters used to do this. They would tape their hands up to the forearm, dip them in glue, and then roll them around in glass. And that's how they fought. Okay. I pitched that idea to the company, but I was like, instead of glass, how about we do Legos?
Oh,
Ooh. Damn.
And I did it on a whim, just kind of pitching ideas, because the whole point of the Innovative Championship is every match has to have a stipulation. Every match is innovative. Okay. So I pitched that idea, and then fast forward 4 or 5 months, and I've completely forgot about even mentioning it. And they were like, hey, by the way, this next show, we're doing the Taipei Tape Fifth Lego match. I was like, what? And yeah. Oh, yeah, we got 8 up, bro. We got 8 up with them Legos.
I think we've all stepped on a Lego in our lifetime.
I went to jump off the top of the cage onto him, and his manager had slid the whole box of Legos into the ring. Ooh. And when I went to dive off, I didn't see that. And he turned around and just caught me in the face with the whole box of Legos. Legos just raining from the sky. And he ended up beating me for the championship. But it was an amazing visual. That's all I could really chalk it to that.
That is dope. That is dope. The Innovative Championship. I was thinking it would be something like that. I wasn't quite sure exactly how their matches would be structured, but that is dope for them to be like, yeah, let's just come up with something innovative, something crazy.
Yeah,
I had a lot that fans can say, I've never seen this before.
Right. We done a hammer on a pole match. I fought a guy who's a Viking, and he carries around the big giant wooden hammer. And we had a hammer on a pole match. So they literally took like 17 bungee cords and bungee corded it to the post. And we had to fight to get all these bungee cords off. And whoever got the last one off, won the match, whatever. But just things like that. Different thinking outside of the box with match, styles and things.
That is cool. Speaking of thinking outside of the box, you wrestled for JCW.
Yes, bro.
Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
That right there.
Did you contact them or did they contact you? That's the first thing I want to know.
Honestly, I had Timmy Renz, Gluttony, and one of the promoters who I've known for years through the promo stuff in Atlanta, Georgia, knew Madman Pondo, who ran the JCW tryouts. He's a deathmatch legend. He was on the old JC Backyard Wrestling video game, Madman Pondo was.
Yep.
But he runs the JCW tryouts every year at the Gathering. And they called and talked to him and about me and all that. And he told them if I could make it up there and go through the tryouts, that he would do his best to get me on the show. And I was like, I've never been to the Gathering. So just the fact that they give me that opportunity, I was like, well, shit, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find some money somewhere. And me and a couple of my buddies loaded up, drove 16 hours to Thornville, Ohio. Got up there, done the tryouts. There was 60 people that tried out, and they picked 30. And they had a 30-man battle royal at JCW, and it was probably a highlight of my career, other than the fact they done it at 2 a.m.
Golly.
Yeah, I'm an old man, dude. If I make it till 10 o'clock, I'm doing good. And you want me to wrestle at 2 a.m.? Man. Cool thing is they had Sir Mix-a-Lot on the stage singing Baby Got Back. And no. But as soon as he got done, they pulled his speakers and his set off the stage and pushed the JCW ring onto the stage. So it was like, as soon as he got done, the ring showed up, and boom, right after Sir Mix-a-Lot is when the show went down, which is pretty dang cool.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
That sounds like something that you would expect from JCW.
Oh, no doubt. It was wild. They had an electric steel cage match at the end of the show. So with Vampiro.
Oh, wow. Vampiro was there? Woo.
Yeah, he was the champion at the time, the JCW heavyweight champion.
Okay. Is Shaggy 2 Dope still on commentary for them?
Every now and again, him and Violent J will come out on commentary, but they usually do dub overs. Once the stuff's recorded and all that, they'll go back and dub over it, because the crowd is so loud. Unless you've got just direct mics, you're not going to be able to hear the commentary anyway, because it gets wild, bro. Wild.
I can only imagine. I can literally only imagine just how crazy of a promotion.
There's a little dude on Facebook. He Superhuman, if you know what I'm talking about. He always jumps through the tables and all that crazy stuff in his backyard for the juggalos and juggalettes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Okay. He was in that match. He was one of the 30.
And this was for like the Battle Royale Championship that they
Yes. This was to open the show at JCW. This was the very first match on the card.
Crazy. So is that the only match you've had for JCW so far, or have you had a couple of?
Yes. That's the only time I've wrestled for them so far. But I know they've got the Brothers of Funstruction going right now, so they're probably not looking for too many other clowny style gimmicks. So I'm waiting my turn.
Champions right now, aren't they?
I believe so.
Hey, you never know, man. Get that feud going, man.
Hey, I'm just waiting for my opportunity, man. It'll come when it's meant to happen. And I'm just enjoying the ride until I get that call. That
is really dope. Wow, Ricky Morton is a champion there right now? That's fucking crazy. Ricky Morton is old as hell. This got to be Ricky Morton Jr., man.
It is Ricky Morton Jr.
Okay. He's the Battle Royale champion right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, ain't no way Ricky Morton is.
Hey, he's still getting
That
it
man
though.
pushing 70, man. That man pushing 70.
He's still getting it though. He's still out there working shows.
That's what's up, man. So, going into other accomplishments, last year, number 94 on the indie wrestlers to watch for list. Getting that recognition, how did that feel? How did that feel after, everything that you've been through since a kid, obviously knowing like this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, taking 25 years to finally get that opportunity, having it taken away from you, coming back even better. And since then, it seems like you've been going extremely hard, week in, week out, pursuing this dream. How did it feel to get number 96 out of 100, out of the hundreds of thousands of independent professional wrestlers? You made a list and was number 96 for the top indie wrestlers to watch for. What did that moment feel like?
It felt like time. It felt like it was time to keep going. That I was on the right track. I could have just as easily been like, you know what? I've done it. I made that mark. People are obviously seeing what I'm doing, but instead of taking that and just holding that as the highlight, I'm gonna take that and use it, because if I can be number 6 or number 96, that means there's 95 other people below me. I've got some moving to do. I got some work to do.
I think it's always important to use our accomplishments in life as motivation.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
think those that are truly successful, and obviously, like I said, success is up to you. What your definition of success is in whatever field that you're
Right.
working in. But I think us that truly want to be great at whatever it is that we do, and again, we define our own definition of greatness.
Of course.
We don't get complacent. We don't get overly satisfied. We often have the and it's fortunate but unfortunate, because I feel like I'm the type of person that I don't live in the moment as much, because when I achieve something, I want to celebrate. People want to celebrate me. That's dope. It's greatly appreciated. It's a good ass feeling, but it's an even better feeling. Like the saying I've been saying all year, I've been accomplishing so much musically this year. And I've just been like, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is just the start for me. So I always feel like that no matter how big it is, something that I accomplish, no matter how big other people look at it. Because a lot of times it's my friends or my family that like, man, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's dope. You're right. I have done it. So I kind of this year been kind of wanting to take a step back more and, smell the flowers. But I always use it as motivation to know, like, okay, if I won this award as an artist, I'm trying to get those other awards. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I won 3 awards last year for my music here in St. Louis. I won 3
That's
awards.
sick. Heck yeah, bro.
But I also went to an award show and I lost both of the awards that I was up for. But it was still like great to be nominated with some like
Right.
St. Louis legends
Right.
in the music scene. But I left there, like literally leaving there, I told my girl, like, I'm not even mad that I lost. I'm happy that I lost, because I needed that motivation. Despite whatever awards I won, those are the awards that I want. So now I'm focused. Now I'm locked in. Like, how do I get those? Let me do
Thank
everything I
you.
can to reach that next level of success that I am striving for.
Right.
So
Right.
any, I can imagine how, for sure, that moment was probably fulfilling. It was validating, I should say. It was probably validation for all the hard work that you put in so far, but it's also like, look, I'm 96. I
Yeah,
got 95 more spots to go up.
right. And I mean, the thing
This
is, if
not it for me.
most people that see 96, yeah, I made the list, but I'm almost at the end of the list. A lot of people get discouraged by that. But it's like,
Mhm.
look, I understand the fact that there are millions of wrestlers who would chop somebody off at the head to get on this
To
list,
be in that
to
top
be
100.
nominated, to be even be considered. So I'm not knocking that at all. You know, I can take this accomplishment and build on it. At the end of our days, that's all we are, is a list of accomplishments, a list of things that we set in stone for future generations to enjoy. So
Right.
if I just let this be my last accomplishment, then I'm leaving nothing for them to enjoy later. I believe that's the only way you become immortal.
Hmm. That is the only way. I can agree with you on that wholeheartedly. As somebody who strives for, you know, greatness at every level of my career, everything that I'm doing in life, like beyond music, I'm a substitute teacher. I'm a basketball coach. You know what I'm saying? So like my team did pretty good last year. We had two teams though last year. So like in our like actual regular season, my sixth graders lost every game. But this
Huh.
tournament, this summer, they haven't lost a game. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wow.
In the winter they didn't win a game. In the summer they haven't lost a game. So that's success for me. But now I want to go back to that league that we lost every game in, and I want them to have a chance to prove themselves and to just know like, yes, you can face defeat, but you can come back so much stronger, so much better, and beat whoever beats you, beat whatever thing beats you. You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's
a
right.
valuable lesson to show them as well. Like even if we go in this time and we win half of the games, we did better. So now our third year in this league, we're gonna win every game. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, right.
that's just the mindset that I want to help them develop as young men as well, to just know like only time you face
Perception,
defeat
bro.
is perception, and the only time that you face defeat is when you quit. If you
Give
don't
up.
quit, you didn't fail.
Yeah.
You didn't face defeat. Yeah, you lost some games, but
What it,
this is not the
what did
end
they
for you.
say?
This is not the end.
What did they say? The old quote wasn't it Thomas Edison that invented the light bulb?
Yeah,
He said Thomas Edison, failed like 100 something times inventing the light bulb, but he told them that he didn't fail 100 times inventing the light bulb. He just found 100 different ways on how not to make a light bulb.
exactly.
You know, or something like that. But you get what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
success is when, or failing is when you quit and there is no more and you're done. You have told yourself in your heart that this is it. But if you just keep going, if you just keep pushing, then success is inevitable.
At the end of the day, as long as you keep pushing, you
Yep.
will succeed, and that's one of the things that I think everybody in life, and obviously I know everybody's, confidence level, self-esteem is at different levels. So you got a
Right.
lot of people who hear things like that maybe and just don't believe it. There are people who don't have people instilling that type of confidence in them. So they don't know just like what they are capable of if they don't quit. And I think
Right.
your story is a beautiful testament to it, because there's a lot of people that when that happened that quick, it was like some people would give up and be satisfied and be like, I mean, I did become a professional wrestler. I did win a championship. Fuck it. It just wasn't meant for me. When
Right.
and everything else you were going through in life at that time,
Oh,
a
I
lot of
mean,
people would have quit. A lot of people would have been like, you know
look,
what? Fuck this. I gave it a try. That's it. But you knew if I did this in this little amount of time, imagine what I can do if I just put my head down and keep grinding, keep chasing my dream. And I tell people this all the time for me, because as a kid, like I wanted to act, I wanted to make music, I wanted to play football, I wanted to play basketball, I wanted to do just typical shit that every boy wanted to do. I wanted to be
yeah,
a professional
entertain.
wrestler. I wanted to be a professional wrestler. the only thing that I've not done at a professional level, and though it may not have been the way I thought about it as a kid, you know what I'm saying? I've done all of those things at a professional level besides wrestle. So before I die, I'm getting in that ring for a match. I got
Hey,
to. I
you're
got to
right.
one
It's a
time because
bucket list.
I make music. I make music and I get paid for my music. I get paid to
Now,
perform.
making your own theme music. Now that'd be dope.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on hopefully making some theme music for some wrestlers. My uncle is also an indie wrestler here in St. Louis, multiple time tag team champion, cruiserweight champion, junior heavyweight champion. So
Oh
he's
wow,
had a
that's
pretty
awesome.
successful career here in St. Louis. He's done some traveling around
Hey, the door's
St.
open.
Louis, Illinois. You know, yeah, I'll probably have to connect y'all. See if he want to slide down south for some shows soon. You know what
Hey,
I'm saying?
I
So yeah,
I'm all
I've
about.
just been able to see, you know, I've accomplished all these things, but I know I wouldn't have if I gave up. Like almost all of these opportunities came to me when another door closed. Like
Yep.
when it was clear cut that, and even I wanted to do journalism. I went to college for sports journalism, Mizzou, number one journalism school in America. I chose that program because I was like, that's kind of what I probably, besides music, my other career, I would want to, you know, do a radio show, have a podcast, be on
Right.
TV, whatever it was. Podcasts weren't really a big thing in 2016 when I went to college, but
Right.
I went to college. I had my radio show, uh, and then from there it was like, okay, I want to start my own podcast. I don't want to work for anybody else.
Uh-huh.
And it just happened that I found some good buddies that made music, and we all love professional wrestling. So that's why
Right.
we started to Say I Quit podcast, and still able to use everything that I learned in school and do something that I always wanted to do, is be in this position and be able to interview people that I admire. You know what I'm saying? Because any professional wrestler, pretty much, I admire, because
Right.
this is something that I've always looked at as larger than life. This is something that has always brought me so much love, so much happiness, and escape from reality. Like my girlfriend knows, like she didn't know jack squat about wrestling. I didn't took
That's
her to her
why.
first. I didn't took her to our first wrestling shows. You know what I'm saying? Like just so much she knows. Like it's when it's pay-per-views coming on, she know like I'm watching wrestling, babe. You know what I'm saying? Like so now she's even got into it.
That's
She's
good
seen some of
though.
her favorite wrestlers. She's done her best to like take an interest in it and actually can watch this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff she can't watch though. Like I was showing her Hangman versus Swerve. I was just showing her
Oh
highlights from the
my.
Texas
Oh
Death Match.
no.
From the Texas Death
Oh.
Match. And she
Oh
was like,
no.
because AEW is coming to St. Louis for Wrestle Dream. So I told her, like, I'm trying to get front row, damn near, if we can. You know what I'm saying? She was like, if they gonna be doing this front row, I don't know if I can sit front row. I was like, hey, hey, maybe we get the third row or something. We don't want no
Right.
blood just splattering on you because
Right.
they do some crazy stuff. But regardless, she definitely took an interest
See,
in it.
that's the crazy thing is like I said, my wife didn't know anything about wrestling. She knows a little bit now because she comes to the shows and records my matches for me and things like that. I also get the company's footage, but she records and takes pictures and things like that for me. And her one of her biggest fears growing up was clowns.
Ah, oh,
So that this has been a whole culture shock since
right.
doing this whole gimmick. When I told her initially that this is what I was working on, building this whole carnival-esque world and all this stuff, and she was like, "On my only rule is that clown mask, you leave it." I had a man cave at the time in my little promo room, and she's like, "You leave all that shit in there," you know. But now, I'm making so much gear all the time, and I'm always doing different things and getting different jackets and all this stuff that she just kind of exposure therapy. She's kind of used to it by now, but
Right.
it's definitely been a process, and I couldn't be happier with it. And I know you mentioned a minute ago, success is how you envision it. And I've had people tell me my whole life that wrestling's stupid because most people grow out of it at 13, 14 years old, whatever. They kind of die out, start chasing girls, doing whatever, you know. I get it, but I didn't. And at 17 years old, I had a son. I ended up having a kid. So when I was going to graduate and go try to pursue wrestling, fatherhood took over. You know what I mean? It was like I dropped out of school and started raising my son and still wanted to go and do this, but couldn't. And that's another reason it took me till I was 30 to actually go do it. He was going on 13 years old or so. And I'm like, he's old enough now that, you know, whatever. I raised him watching wrestling and all that kind of stuff. But just because life happens and things, you get hurdles in your life, doesn't mean your dream has to die. That's what I'm getting at.
Fact. Fact. I love that. There are definitely always going to be things that, you know, may make us take a detour, essentially,
Yep.
from the road that we, you know, want to take. But it is up to us to, you know, find that new route to navigate.
Yeah.
Because it'll be there. We just have to be ready when the moment comes. And you happen to be prepared when that moment came. And it was finally like, okay, now this makes sense. This makes sense. It's right at home.
I'm
I don't
just
have to
blessed.
relocate the family. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm just blessed that my wife that didn't know jack nothing about wrestling, didn't know. I mean, she knew I was into wrestling, but she didn't know that I was like into wrestling. You know what I mean? Like would try to pursue it as a career.
Right.
She thought watching is one thing, playing a game is one thing, but actually getting out there and getting beat up all the time, and she didn't know about all that until I pitched it to her, and I was like, it's what I've always wanted to do. And she never second guessed it. She never batted an eye. She was like, if it's what will make your heart happy, by all means, go give it a shot. You know?
That's beautiful. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
And I'm beyond blessed for that.
Yeah, that's the type of partner that you want to have, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was her chasing a dream, whether it was you chasing a dream, whoever it is that is going to chase this thing that, you know, kind of seems impossible.
Yeah.
Or seems like, you know, maybe not the smartest thing to do because the amount of wear and tear that you're gonna have to put on your body and things like that. To still have someone that loves you enough to be like, if this is what you want to do it. You got my support. That's very important to have in a partner, for sure.
Well, she's an introvert, like very much. We got a black cat Labrador relationship. Like me, you know what I'm saying? Like she is very stay at home with the animals, read a book, leave me away from the world. And I'm the polar opposite. I'm as bright as can be and let me get out in front of a crowd of 1,000 and show myself off and all that kind of stuff. So when it comes down to our personalities, polar opposite. But that's what makes our relationship work is the fact that she can see how happy I am, you know, doing what I'm doing. And I know that when I come home, she's always going to be there.
Makes sense. I got a couple more questions for you.
Go for it.
I'll let you go. First and foremost, heel or babyface? What's your preference?
Oh, babyface all day. I'm a face. Me and my group of faces.
Okay. Have you ever played heel, or do you kind of dabble between both?
I've attempted heel, but in all honesty, even when I cheat or even when I, you know, hit some sketchy move that may seem heel, the crowd pops for it. So I mean, promoters have tried pushing me heels before, but all I do is bury their baby face.
Right.
I mean, and I tell them that before the show because even though I look a little weird and scary, the kids love the lights. The fans love the lights. They love the whole get up, you know, the whole thing. And even like, you know, when you come out into the ring, they always say where you're from, where your character is from, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say I'm from your town. Why am I from your town? Because that's what a carnival does. It goes from town to town to town to town. So I'm never from the same place twice. I'm always from your town. Okay. So when they say Rika Wildlee, the Barker of the Bazaar from your town, immediately, if I've been there 100 times or I've been there once, the crowd is immediately on the hook because they're going, wait a minute, from my town, do I know this guy? Have I ran into him before at Walmart? Now they're trying to place you in their own life, and I ain't even got to the ring yet. But they're already on the edge of their seats. They're already involved. They're invested. Then I come out and they see the lights, and they see the persona and that whole thing, and they see my longer hair. They see my earrings and my size and all that, and they're like, "Wait a minute, who do I know that has earrings, long hair, is about that guy?" They're constantly the whole match trying to place themselves because I'm behind a mask. Knowing I just drove 7.5, 8 hours to get here. I'm not from anywhere around here.
Right. Yeah.
but what I'm saying is it's those little bit of psychology things in wrestling that keeps the people involved and keeps the fans guessing and more willing to tell others about your style, your persona, your gimmick, and all of that, because it's always a show. It's more than just wrestling.
End of the day. That's what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to professional wrestling and like why people love it so much. I like to compare it I like to call it male soap opera.
Oh,
To
dude,
be honest,
Broadway with
that's what
body
I like to
slam.
call it to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those people that watch, you know what I'm saying? All My Children, well, All My Children ain't been
Hey,
on
look,
years. But Young and the Restless and all of Bold
yeah,
and Beautiful and all of those, that's typically something that women watch. For men, it's professional wrestling. If we want that type of escape, essentially.
it's Broadway with body slams, my dude.
I love that. So,
And the stage is a ring.
literally, couldn't have said it better myself. Second to last question. Top 5 wrestling theme songs of all time. Your favorite 5.
Okay. Top 5 wrestling theme songs of all time. You've got to go, and this is for me. This is going to be for me. You've got the original Ministry of Darkness Undertaker theme song with the electric guitars, all of that. I'm gonna use themes that was made by Jim Johnson, not stuff that was actual songs and just turned into themes like Real American, but for Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna use themes that were made for the wrestler. Okay. So you've got Ministry of Darkness for the Undertaker. You've got I'm gonna say The Broken Glass, Stone Cold.
Classic.
Yeah.
Along with it.
One of my favorite theme musics that has ever been done, and that is by Peroxygen, Jeff Hardy's band, and that is Modern Alien Waltz, his TNA theme.
Okay. I know a lot of people would go No More Words over that, but
yeah, look, I like No More
one.
Words. I like No More Words, but the vibe that even though that was probably the worst run he ever had, was messed up Jeff Hardy and TNA, the music was great.
I agree.
Then, okay, so we got Undertaker, Stone Cold, Jeff Hardy. I'm going to say Road Dogg, the New Age Outlaws. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. And then I'm just going to go overall. And this is a mix-up. It's a toss-up between Red and Black Wolfpack or DX. Yeah, don't turn your back on the Wolfpack. Oh, that was such a fire song.
The Run DMX, the Run DMC DX, or the OG?
The OG DX.
Okay.
I mean, I like the DMC version, but the OG DX, the original.
The King of Digs. Yeah, I love both of those. And of course, the
Dude,
Wolfpack classic things. I love that list. I love that list. That's a very nostalgic list too for me. Like just
yes,
shit that I was hearing as a baby, a very young kid. Like when I first started watching wrestling,
yes.
most of those themes cover that. And
There's so
while
many more
looking back, especially as I'm sure human wise, like Jeff Hardy was going through it, but I did enjoy every run that he had in TNA personally.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Looking back at it though, it's definitely like, damn, just like with Kurt Angle, like he was
Uh-huh.
going through some shit during that
Perk
time
Angle.
and probably shouldn't have been out there wrestling, but damn, were they entertaining?
Yeah, Perk Angle.
Yeah, legit. Last question. Your subjective, biased Mount Rushmore. Not
Oh,
the consensus one, but your favorite four of that you would say like these are the guys that are my greatest, my personal greatest professional wrestlers of all time or favorite.
okay. I'm going on at this point. I'm going on ability alone,
In
and
ring
this is going.
ability or
Yeah,
in ring and mic.
this is all around,
Okay.
all around style, mic, all of it. And this is me. You've got all around in ring talent and mic ability, and we said it earlier. That's Eddie Guerrero. That's number one.
No doubt.
Okay.
One of the goats.
Then you've got the innovative style that we know now as the high flying style, the more lucha esque style, and I'm going to give that to the early days of Jeff Hardy.
I love it.
Then I'm going to give the ground game and technical style of the
I like how
heyday.
you breaking it. I like how you breaking it into,
I'm
different different
well,
styles of wrestling.
this is the reason. This is the reason. I'm going to give it to the heyday and the actual style of wrestling, the locks, the holds, the understanding why these moves mean what they mean, and that is to William Regal.
Woo! Shout
Okay.
out King William Regal.
Yes. William Regal, probably one of my top five technical wrestlers, period.
A guy that
Then
doesn't get enough credit, for sure.
he does not. And as far as big men go, storytelling and character all around the table, no matter what version of this character he was playing, and that is to Kane.
Oh, Kane over Undertaker.
Yes, I love Undertaker, but Undertaker's
You was
been
describing
Taker.
him when you was describing him, I was like, he about to say Undertaker. Kane over
I've
Undertaker.
always been one of those people who I love Undertaker and everything he's represented, even in the American Badass days. I loved Undertaker, but even when Taker was stepping away from the darkness and the trench coat and all that stuff and doing the American Badass, he was still just Taker.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
if
may
we
have,
being
he
honest.
talked more and he rode a Harley, but he still done the devil puns and all of that stuff. But when it
Still was
comes to
basically the same character.
yes, but when it come to Kane, Kane was funny when he needed to be funny, like with Daniel Bryan or RVD or the Hurricane. He was
Right.
funny when
Booker
yeah,
T,
Booker T,
RV,
dude.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He was anything you needed him to be in a big man. When he needed to be scary, he was scary. When he needed to be a powerhouse, he was a powerhouse. If he needed to fly, he could get on the top rope and dive off and fly. But if he needed to be funny, if he needed to be entertaining more than brutal, then he could do that. So as a whole, in a big man, I gotta give it to Kane.
I respect that. I can respect that for sure. I'm definitely more of an Undertaker than Kane guy. But when you put it in that perspective, Kane has been able to do a lot more with his character than Undertaker. The Undertaker has kind of always been Undertaker. He's godly at that. He's amazing
He's
at what
serious.
at.
He's
But
serious.
Kane
Everything
has been
Undertaker does.
able to do it all. The Kane and Daniel Bryan was one of the most interesting things of the
Oh
2010.
man,
That story was amazing. Team Hell
yes,
No, Team Hell Yes, whatever you want to call them.
yes,
Like that was good TV right there.
agreed, bro, agreed.
And that's just something that you never got from the Undertaker. You never got
Yeah,
to have him in those.
he was
Um,
entertaining because of the character. He wasn't entertaining because he was trying to play the character in any way other than serious.
yeah,
Undertaker's always been about coming out, handling business, keeping his yard, being the big man, just domination.
mm-hmm.
There's really never anything outside of that box. But Kane,
Very much true.
he's got all different avenues of character development. I'm going to say funny, you know, he's, even when he was doing for the short time when him and Lita are when what didn't they do the whole married thing for a short
Yeah,
time?
with Edge and everything.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And he like
Okay,
had
and
Lita pregnant or some shit.
right, well,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it was
but he
just
was
yeah.
playing a serious. He was playing like a seriously, in love guy and all this. But then he done corporate Kane. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, they're
Literally, he's touched everything.
that's what I'm saying, and that's why he is always going to be on my Mount Rushmore. Period.
I love it. I love the list, man. I love the list. I've loved this conversation. Uh, definitely, you got a fan in me.
I
Uh,
appreciate it.
and we look forward to bringing you back on the podcast in the future.
Hey,
Um,
let me
hopefully
know.
next time we'll be able to have all three of the co-hosts. My boy Les, I know Reed messaged me and said he had to dip out. Um, but regardless, we'll be watching, we'll be supporting, and we look forward to seeing you continue to climb up that list of indie wrestlers
Yes,
to watch, and win much, much more gold and down the line. Looking forward to you starting that wrestling school. I can tell that you have the right mindset for this, no doubt about it.
I'm already.
So
I'm
it's
already
it's
the head
coming your way.
trainer. I'm already the head trainer right now at UWE for the time being. So
So then from there, this is the perfect experience for you to just kind of see how it is essentially running a
yeah,
wrestling school to
taking
where
those steps.
eventually you'll be able to, I know you said it was kind of a surprise to you when people were telling you like, hey, it's a wrestling school here now. Well,
Yeah,
now you'll be able to be one of the people that makes that kind of the standard and make it so that all kids can come in and be like, grow up and be like, I want to go wrestle. And
I'm gonna be that
I know
door.
exactly where I need to go to get that door open for me. And you'll be the guy holding that door open for
Yep,
the next generation. And that's really,
sir.
really dope. That's a dope dream to have. Because a lot of people once we get to the a lot of times when we chase these type of things, we're thinking about ourselves and just how it's gonna feel for us and our legacy. But our legacy always extends beyond us. And the best way to make sure you have that type of legacy is to give to the next generation. So I applaud you for that, man. Appreciate
Thank you.
everybody that tapped in, whether you watching live, whether you are watching this after the fact that we recorded this. We appreciate y'all tapping in. Like, comment, subscribe,
Yes,
search the Barker of Bazaar, search up Rika Wildlee on Google, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you
I'm the
use
only
to
one out
find
there.
Sly.
I'm the only one out there. If you Google it, I'm gonna pop up.
Follow this man, follow his career, man. I've definitely, like I said, enjoyed talking to you. Like,
Thank you.
comment, subscribe. You know what it is, y'all. It is the best pro wrestling podcast, not only in the Midwest, not only on the East Coast, but in the world, man. We are doing something that is not necessarily unheard of, but we're doing something very, very special over here besides just talking about wrestling. We are showing y'all the future of pro wrestling. We are interviewing future stars from all around the globe. We've had 2 interviews this week, 2 really, really dope interviews. So make sure y'all check those out as well. Check out all the interviews that we've been doing as of late. I appreciate y'all, man. It's your boy Lil Derek. It's too sick.